Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Clickbait. It's your host, Joe. Now, I know I've been gone for 3 weeks, and I'm happy to be back. Aaron, Jill, and Mari, I heard they did a wonderful job. I got to go back and listen to the episodes. I was filming a show that's going to be on Amazon Freevee called The GOAT. I would love to tell you guys more about it, but it is our Bachelor Nation breakdown of the week number 1, so I'll talk about it when we get to that section. Other than that, what's been new in my life? I missed our wedding tasting. Serena locked it down. She had to, remove a few sides, switch them out, some sauce on the side issues, but I think everything went pretty smoothly. We're happy with all our desserts. I feel like everyone says when you get married, one of the best parts is the wedding tasting, so that the fact that I didn't get to do that, I'm a little bummed out. But when you're filming reality TV, not much you could do, So that's kind of what's new. Other than that, just back in New York, happy to be here, happy to be back with you guys. Today, we have Clayton coming on. He hasn't been on this podcast. Last time he was here was about a year ago. So we're going to catch up with him, see what's new. Is he going on Paradise? There's a lot of rumors that a lot of people from past seasons will be going back on the show. Is Clayton one of them? We're going to find out. I know he did come out with a book. We'll talk about that. He's a real estate agent. The list goes on and on. So can't wait to talk to him. But let's start out Bachelor Nation breakdown number 1. Like I said, they just released the cast photo of a new show called The GOAT. It's on Amazon Freevee. I am on it. Tayshia Adams, also from Bachelor Nation, is on it. The cast is a lot of fun. I can't get into too many details. All I could say is that I was there. I was there, and I cannot wait for all of you to watch. If you listen to Clickbait, hopefully you'll watch me on a new show. But yeah, can't get into too much, but I will have updates as I get more information on that side when it will be released. Great. Okay. Breakdown number 2. Becca and Thomas are pregnant. Becca's pregnant. Very, very happy for her. I feel like their relationship has just been going and going, getting all in the right direction. They really, really do love each other. So being there in Paradise with them and seeing that relationship form and to see where it's come today is incredible. Thomas texts me all the time because he's jealous that I'm from Chicago and I get to be a Cubs fan. And unfortunately, he's a San Diego Padres fan. And I know he wants his kid to also grow up as a Padres fan. I don't know how that's going to actually work out for him. But we'll see. We all know Chicago, I've told him Chicago's a better food city than San Diego. He seems to feel differently, but in all seriousness, I think he's going to be a wonderful father. They're going to be great parents, and I'm so happy for them. So Becca and Thomas, if you're listening to this, way to go. And if you're not, thank you for supporting me. I really, really do appreciate it. Next, we have our third Bachelor Nation breakdown, which is Stagecoach season is here. So we all know Stagecoach and The Bachelor now are basically hand in hand because of Blake Horseman, his whole Stagecoach thing when he was on Paradise. And honestly, you know what? I got to give it, Blake does not get enough credit for the Bachelor Nation crossover with Stagecoach. But everyone was there. We've seen them all posting. Abigail and Noah, Nick Vial and Natalie. The list goes on. They're literally all there. I could name them all for you, but all you have to do is go to Instagram and check it out. Or go into Google and type in Bachelor Stagecoach. They're all posting. There's not much I can talk about there. It's a music festival. I would assume there may be some people going on Paradise that were there and potentially got a little messy. So we'll always have that narrative to look forward to this summer. Stagecoach, Coachella. Okay, and then this isn't an official Bachelor Nation breakdown, but something we've seen floating around social media that we feel the need to touch on because it's two Bachelor Nation alums. Josh Murray, who is engaged to Andy Dorfman on her season, now just soft launched a relationship between him and Holland Parson, who was a night one elimination from Zach's season. We didn't get to see too much of her. We don't know too much about the story, except they are dating, we think. They're posting. There's a lot of Bachelor accounts that have reposted it. So is this a relationship? Does this count as a Bachelor Nation relationship? I personally don't know. I think it does, but would love to hear your guys' thoughts. So if you're interested in this, DM us. Let us know. Maybe we'll keep talking about it. Maybe we'll ask Josh or Holland on the podcast next week because it is difficult for me to keep doing this shit by myself. But here we are. Great. Okay, so that wraps up everything that has been going on in Bachelor Nation. And I think to make this easier on myself and for all of our listeners, I'm just going to bring him in because he has a lot to say and we have a lot to cover. Everyone, please welcome the former Bachelor himself, Clayton, to Clickbait. Clayton, what's up, buddy? How are you? Welcome to Clickbait.
Man, it has been a minute. I was just trying to think when the last time you and I had talked, and I was it in LA? We were having drinks, no, it was Mexico, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if we can talk about that. That's footage that did not make the air. But yes, that was the last time. Yes, that was the last time we saw each other.
Yeah, man. Well, how you been?
I'm good. I just I'm good. I was filming a show last month, so I was doing all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you disclose or no? Is this top secret?
It's for the most part, it's top secret, but it's going to be called The GOAT. It's going to be on Amazon, and that's kind of.
Oh yeah. Okay, I saw that. You and Tasha was on it as well, right?
Yeah, Tasha as well. So that'll be cool.
I guess hopefully you are the GOAT, man. Right? I guess we'll find out.
We will see. Obviously there's so much new with you, but first of all, happy belated birthday, by the way. You're 30 years old. How does that feel?
Man, it has been an experience. I had a couple firsts, and I hate to admit it, but I drank a little bit too much, and I had a little bit come back up for the first time ever. So I had a streak where never in my life that I ever puked from alcohol, and finally I broke that. And that's welcome to my 30s. That's how I was with that, and then a 2-day hangover. So I was just like a double whammy.
Wow, I can't believe. Are you not? Were you a partier in college? Or did you drink?
Not really, but when I would drink, I would go all out. But I would will myself. I would sit there. I hate puking. Yeah. And so I was like, I will not. And so whenever I started feeling like I was going to, I would get in my head and I would just lock in. I was like, you're not going to do it. You're better than this. Like I would positive self-talk myself out of puking. I couldn't do it this time around. So it came on so quick, and it wasn't. Yeah, I finally had that experience. So hate to admit it, but I guess I have a guilty conscience because I just decided to let everyone know that. So
no, that's fair. Honestly, I'm more impressed than anything because I cannot positively talk. I can't talk myself out of throwing up. Once the ceiling starts spinning, I'm a dead man, and it goes.
Oh gosh, man! The ceiling was spinning, the floor was spinning. The food that I was looking at was spinning. It was a mess, and I guess I could talk myself out of it in my 20s, but 30s are bringing a new era.
Was this the night after you and all the Bachelor guys were hanging out, and we saw I think you posted a dance video with a few? Is this all the same night?
No. That was a fun one though. That was another night where I've been more lax as far as my drinking. I was like, you know what? When I'm with people, I got to have fun and just enjoy the moment. So I've been cutting it loose. I think being in the Scottsdale environment too, it's quite a party scene. So it's just kind of started to warm me up a little bit. And so I'm like, oh, it's one night. And so I keep using this one night saying I'm in phrase to make myself feel better. But no, that was a couple weeks ago. We were in San Diego. Yeah, I think we were in San Diego. Yep. And that was for Rodney's birthday.
Okay. Yeah, actually.
Man, and the drinks were flowing. The moves were kind of flowing. I was pretty proud of the video that I found on my phone the next day.
I think you look great. What you should be proud. You should. What anything
Not
you could tell
always.
us? Anything you could tell us about that night or any nights as far as are you
I mean,
hooking up with any Bachelor girls or any of the who's hooking up with who? We need some clickbait here on this podcast.
man, yeah,
me?
you're going in for the deep shot.
I gotta take a shot.
Yeah, you're looking for the slam dunk. So I actually have not spoken to anybody romantically in Bachelor Nation. I have been talking to, I've been playing the field, weighing my options, going out on dates in Scottsdale, but nobody in Bachelor Nation. I've not had anybody reach out to me from Bachelor Nation. So I don't know if there's just a giant red flag waving above my head right here, but
there usually is. After you're the Bachelor, that you automatically get that giant.
I think I just have an arsenal of red flags around me, and people I don't even know what people are saying. But no, my DMs have been dried. But I've just been doing the old fashioned way here in Scottsdale.
There was a clip. I thought I saw a clip of you. This may be a while back of you at a sporting event, some game with a girl. What was that?
Yeah,
just a regular date.
Yeah. I flew out. To see this girl. We were talking, we met on social media, through Instagram, and very attractive girl, very very driven, and I like that about her. She had a career and was doing really great at it, and also was kind of just more like so into her career that it just kind of worked with like our schedules and such. But just the long distance, I think that's all it came down to. We never really had this discussion. Now I'm like, well, if she watches this, I didn't know if I should have had the discussion with her, but it's just long distance is hard. And I don't really want to do it personally. So that's all it came down to. I was just like, I would rather be with someone here locally. So that was where the end of that happens.
Another Clayton red flag. Why'd you fly out there? What made you book a flight? Just really attracted to her?
I really liked, again, very attractive girl, very driven. She had a great personality. So everything was matching up. And I thought, okay, like, well, there's no harm in going out and just like meeting her and then seeing how that goes. And so that was my thought. So I went out,
no, I respect. You're a single guy.
Yeah,
you do what you got to do.
I mean, I feel like I'm on the hot seat right now. No,
you're not. Listen, you are no longer the Bachelor. Okay, you can say and have as much fun as you want.
If I want to fly out on a plane, I'm flying out on the plane. All right, and that's what
exactly.
Happened. And I kept that, I had obviously I knew it was long distance already. So I was like, well, let's just see, like, how do I feel about it? And I went, we had a great time. And then I just remember thinking like, it was an incredible, weekend. But I just couldn't get past, I was like, no, I just don't want to do this long distance. And so, we've kept it cordial. We've kind of chatted here and there, but nothing serious. But I would say that's not a red flag or a yellow flag.
It's not a red flag. Listen, I personally, I've met you a few times. I like you. I think you have a good head on your shoulders. I think that you are a catch. I don't know if Gabby feels that way.
Tell everybody else that.
I don't know if Gabby feels that way after the dress comment, but that's also something that got a lot of traction. So, was there any conversation after that?
No, and I sent she posted another one recently about her selling the dresses from when she was on when we were on the same season together, and I was just like, hey, I put me a comment. I said, don't be shy, tag him, because I'm just having fun with it. I mean, I have no bad blood towards her. I have not spoken to her at all since the end of my season. Yeah. So I don't know how she feels about me. I would hope it's water under the bridge. I felt like when she made that original post saying Clayton was supposed to propose me in this, I kind of took that as like a lighthearted jab. I didn't think it was like her taking a shot at me, even though she aspect the vowel in my name. But I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. I thought it was just banter, like playful banter, but she didn't say anything after I sent the message. And I know she saw it. I mean,
she definitely saw it.
The comment was up there, so I know she saw it.
Were you considering sliding into her DMs after that?
No, because what am I going to slide for? I mean, I think she's an incredible person. I think she's doing really well for herself. But she doesn't. There's no. I think at this point, I mean, we would just be friends. If anything, there wouldn't be anything else there. And she knows
Okay.
that. I know this. So it's just that, like, there's no way she could ever revisit it. After everything that happened, I think it was pretty apparent who I decided to choose. Going with Susie, and I made that decision. And I just don't think anybody would ever want to feel like they're second choice. And that's just the way that this whole thing works. Is like you're picking. There's multiple people, and it's
Yeah.
I think that in their head and in my head, it's like you would always feel like you were
Listen,
never the number one.
I'm gonna cut you off right now. We don't have to get into all that. I respected the comment.
You can tell how I try to be careful, man. I try to be respectful. I don't want to like step on anyone's toes. I know you want the clickbait, but like I don't want to be plastered up on a headline being like,
no, you're good.
Clayton disrespects Gabby. I'm like, I don't want to have that, man. Like,
you flirted with her. You threw out a flirtatious comment that was funny. It got a lot of traction. I'm sure she laughed at it. And if you guys end up maybe both single in the same city one day, maybe you have a drink, maybe you don't. Who gives a fuck? I'm happy.
Hey, I'd sit down and have a drink with her. 1,000%.
Yeah.
We would have that.
Now we're talking. All right. I like that. But no, I thought it was a bold and ambitious move. I really liked it. Now
I went off the rails, man. I don't have anybody holding the reins back on me anymore.
Who are you hanging out with in Scottsdale? Any your brothers are out there? Do you have are you running around with a bunch of Bachelor Nation guys right now? What's the deal?
No, there's I think there's a couple of guys that are out here from previous seasons, but I haven't really reached out to them. We hadn't had a discussion. I talked to Ari briefly. We were possibly looking into like partnering up on real estate, but I chose to explore another option and go a different way. But he's out here, but he's also, I mean, he has kids, and so I'm not. He wouldn't be running the streets, hanging around downtown at the old town vibes in the way that I'm currently doing. I'm definitely enjoying this. It's much different than Missouri ever was. But just hanging out with my brothers and then a bunch of Midwesterners that are all I happen to just meet out, but we're all like a bunch of Chicagoans that I've become friends with. Those nice. Chicagoans, man, good people, right?
Yeah, there we go. I love that. And I know Arizona, especially Scottsdale, seems to be a place where a lot of people from Chicago move. A lot of bars started in Chicago and then went to Scottsdale. Yeah. There's a few that started in Scottsdale and made their way to Chicago. Let's talk about real estate. You're a real estate agent now for a sec. Yeah. I did see a clip of you on Jason Tartick's podcast, and you were just kind of talking about, when you financially got off The Bachelor, people assume that you made X amount of dollars and you would have, like, it almost gives you this financial freedom, which realistically it doesn't, and you spend a good portion of a year focusing on being The Bachelor and press and all that, and I get that. Like, I actually really related to that clip. So why real estate? Were you in real estate prior? Talk about that.
Yeah, no, and I think it was interesting, that clip kind of took off a little bit, and people, again, I read online and people were saying like, oh, he's saying he's broke. And I was like, I wasn't saying I was broke. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And that's all it is. And there used to be a day and age where I heard where like people will come off the show and it'd just be boom, deal, brand deal, like offer to do this, that, and the other. I heard of people getting offers to go on, to be a radio host and X amount of money. And none of that happened. But I will say though, now that like opportunities have started to come around as I've built my social media and I've fallen into this niche of physical and mental wellness. So it's worked out really well in that aspect. But for me, real estate was my way of being able to generate income offline. So I'm sure you can relate to this as well. Running social media, it's a full-time job, and it's stressful because there's a lot of things that are out of our control. I can't get people to click on my posts and like them. I don't know how many people are going to follow, how many people are going to see it. I don't know what the algorithm is going to be like, because the algorithm is always changing. So it's a very volatile business. That stressed me out a ton. And so I was like, I would rather do something that's local, in person, where I can rely on my own self, not be at the mercy of thousands of people online. I mean, that's the other thing too. It's like people online want to see whatever it is they want to see, not necessarily what you want to put out there. So, I just was like, well, how about I be my authentic self, but let me take this offline. So I was in medical sales prior. But then I just thought real estate to me, it's a relationship business. I like homes. I think homes are really cool, like the modern ones, especially. I love the aesthetics. And so I was like, hey, I can sell a home because I believe in it. It's obviously one of the happiest days of someone's life when they buy a home. So I was like, this just seems like something right up my alley. I was already in sales, so it seemed like a natural transition.
Yeah, I've considered it myself at a point too, and I do feel like we have a little we do have an advantage going into that arena because we already have this built-in social media platform, which
Mm.
does help to an extent. Would you ever like now? Are you considering it if this does go well for you? Like, will you start doing like Instagram videos and potentially YouTube home videos and making it part of your social media as well?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've already like posted a couple stories, and every time I do, you're exactly right. I mean, every time I post a story, I get a hit. Somebody somewhere in Arizona, they're just like, "Hey, I'm looking to potentially sell my home," and so that's really cool because again, like I'm very grateful to have a platform where like it's bringing in potential buyers and sellers. So yeah, I mean, I definitely want to incorporate this as a part of my life now. So, but I've thought about how would I do this in a way that's fun, but also can you showcase what I'm doing on a daily basis. So my plan is to sign up here soon for some hip hop dance classes. I found a studio, right? And so I think I could somehow incorporate like the dancing in homes and like show homes would be dancing at the same time. I think that would be a fun little twist. So
Yeah,
give me six.
that makes perfect sense. I get I,
I
I
don't
get the
know,
way.
man.
All right, wait.
Things are going on. Things are going on up here. We'll see if what manifests into what. But I think it would be yeah. I'm like whatever is meant to be is meant to be. But I think I'll obviously be having a bigger presence with real estate on my Instagram. But in what way, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm dying to see this real estate collab hip hop thing you got going on.
So
But
you didn't seem to be a believer in that just based
well,
off your
listen,
reaction.
I think anything that you do, I find I'm intrigued by. So let's fucking do it. um, let's talk. Okay, so it's May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. You've
Yeah.
been really making strides in that area. I know I've seen you do a lot of public speaking and you talk a lot about mental health. You want to touch on that and just how important that's been and what you've done to honestly, help yourself out, especially after the show and everything.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's been everything to me. I don't know about you, but for me, that growing up, we never even talked about mental health. Not in my school. Um, we would have had the discussion at home. I'm sure, like my mom and dad would have brought it up, but we just never really talked about it. We were always involved in sports, and sports was a place where everything was physical. There wasn't. I mean, there was the mental component of like believe in yourself, but and you'll be a better athlete. But like a lot of it at a young age, you just don't have that mental fortitude to really tap in. So,
And I do feel like,
I,
not to cut you off, but I do feel like, especially in sports and at a young age, I feel like the mentality is be tough. Like be tough.
yeah,
And I think when you're young, you don't even really know what be tough means. And you just automatically assume that anything you do that isn't what the society perceives as tough is then weak,
yep, yeah,
which
yeah,
could lead
absolutely.
to a lot of problems in the future.
Well, the thing is too is I go back and I think about all the movies I watched, and you see these superheroes, these big muscular guys, they're tough, they're beating people up, or if you're watching a football movie, they're laying someone out. I mean, they're showing some incredible physical feature. I can't recount any movie where I watched where like a man of that stature, or really just any man that was known as a man's man was crying or journaling or like was being vulnerable. I just don't remember any movie like that where there was that kind of character where like the guy was, the typical version of what a man looks, again, what's a man supposed to look like. But you never saw those muscular dudes breaking down and getting emotional. I mean, I guess I'm going to remember the Titans. I guess they had a moment like where the two of them were crying in the hospital. But for the most part, like, yeah, there was like pop culture even played into that where it's like, this is what men do. Men, are tough and they protect their families and they get physical. And if they don't cry, not out in public. If they do, it's behind closed doors. And so that's just the way I never had. I never really had a sign or anybody around me where I saw that was someone I could look up to that was emotionally vulnerable. Just never
Mhm.
had that. And so and in the last year or so, or last 2 years, coming off the show, I when I was finally able to sacrifice my ego and stop trying to be right all the time and let my guard down, I was like, oh well, maybe there's something I can work on, and I realized that what I needed to work on was this emotional maturity that I never had tapped into. But then what I quickly ran into a wall of is like, okay, now I'm aware that there's this whole realm of emotional maturity, but I don't even know how to talk about it. I don't have the vocabulary for it. I'm feeling a certain way, but I can't describe it. And so then that became very overwhelming because the more I would read about it, the more podcasts I would watch, I would be like, oh, that's kind of how I feel, but like I can't express it myself. So I felt almost like tongue tied. And that was something that I still struggle with nowadays. Like when I'm posting videos and such, I'm like, I'm like, there's a right way to say this, but I don't have the experience in saying it because I'm so new to expressing my emotions. So, but I think there's a vulnerability in that alone. And I've been trying to use my platform to show other people that like, you don't have to have all the words and is all you have to do is just be able to express yourself. And every time that I have, I get a lot of great feedback online. A lot of people that I've, been able to reach out to locally, talking to our, youth around the nation. It's been really a positive response. Just because even just having the conversation gives people hope that like they also can receive the help that they're looking for and they can find a solution to their problem. So that's all
Yeah.
I've been trying to do. But I'm by no means like an expert. I struggle to formulate like the correct sentences because I just still am learning all the vernacular when it comes to like the mental health realm.
Have you thought about like I don't know, going back to school and trying to be a therapist if this is something that you're really like passionate about?
I did think about that at one point. But that would where I'm at currently. Again, I think like with the schedule that I have, being able to do real estate, being able to
Yeah.
go speak on mental health, working on my my online training platform. I mean, all of these balls that I'm juggling. If I were to go back to school, I would have to place a few of those down because I just wouldn't
Yeah.
have the time for it. And so I came to this place where I realized that I can do what I am able to do right now. But if I were to go back to school, I would have to set aside a lot of that, and I just don't want to do that. I also think I know a lot of people that are therapists. Like it's incredibly taxing
Yeah.
because you're taking on everyone else's problems, um, not only your own. But that's what you're there to do, though, is to help other people. But then you're constantly having people come to you with their issues. I got a ton of respect for those people, but like I just feel personally where I'm at right now that to take on 10, 20 clients and all of their emotional trauma, I'm still in a healing process myself and I'm still learning in that sense. And so I don't know if I could take all that on.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I feel like you're already doing. Seems like you're just doing so much. I don't know how you're not overwhelmed, or maybe you are.
Oh, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I
Right.
definitely
So
am. I had a
let's
moment yesterday. Yeah.
what what I guess like what are you doing though that's like your like what you want to be your future? Like where do you see yourself in 10 years as far as a career?
Gosh, man, I mean, I really do think real estate's going to become the full-time thing.
Okay.
I just know it takes some time to fire it up. So like I'm only a month in right now.
Yeah.
But to me, if I could make that my full-time thing, but to me, like real estate isn't just selling homes. Like real estate entails going around and being active in the community. It's going to events. It's just building relationships locally. And that to me is what real estate entails. And then you just, oh, by the way, I also am a realtor. And then somebody decides that they want to sell their house with you because they like you. So to me, that's what a realtor is. And it's a full-time job, but it's just being present, pouring into the community. And that's kind of what I see happening in the next 10 years is I'll be doing my real estate. But then I'll also, be speaking locally to all the middle schools and high schools and even universities in the area and having this discussion of mental health. So that's where I could see myself in 10 years being. And I think that'd be a very, obviously happy life. Plus I also hope that I, am in a relationship by that point.
Well, okay, so
Otherwise,
but
yeah,
let's talk about that for a second. Like, what are you
yeah,
doing? You're 30, which
yeah.
there's no timeline on when you should and should not settle down. Are you right now at a point where you're just comfortable casually dating, or you're not even looking to date? You want to go just do you want to run around and just be single for a little bit, or are you looking?
No, I don't want to just run around. I mean, yeah, I did that at one point in my life, and I feel like I've just gotten through that. Yeah, talking to, man, I don't know if I'm ready to disclose this. I
Let's
don't want to
go.
jinx anything. I don't think I
No,
want to jinx
let's.
anything right now.
No, you're not going to
Um,
jinx it.
I'll just say this: I do have interest in someone that I'm talking to right now. Um, we'll see where it goes. I I go back and forth. Like I feel that I have so much going on that I'm like, do I have the time to devote to somebody? But then at the same rate, I've had some really great conversations with somebody as recently, and I'm pretty interested. And have kind of caught myself like wondering what they're doing. Earlier today, I was like, wonder what they're doing today. I was like, oh, you're starting to think about them. So I don't know where that's going to go though. And it's kind of early in the game, but yeah, I'm definitely ready
So you're
to
in love.
settle.
You're in love. I get that. So
So you're
so
telling me that you think you might just happen to be falling in love? Yeah, go ahead and start that.
do you
Lead me
can
there.
I ask you this? Have
Yeah.
you been on a date with this person?
Yes. Multiple.
Okay. Multiple dates. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And you like where it's going, but you don't want to jinx it. I respect it. I'm not going to ask you any more questions. What is her name? No.
Yeah. It's. I mean, again, it's early in. I can give you like I think we've been talking for a month now, maybe a
Okay.
month and a half, but on and off. It was. I think what I liked is that she kind of gave me distance. Like she knew like he's doing his own thing right now, and so there wasn't really a push, which I liked. I think that's what I needed. I didn't want to feel like someone's going to smother me. I needed somebody just to be like, oh, like I like what you're doing, and yeah, I can hang out tonight, and yeah, like let's go out for dinner and drinks and blah blah blah. And I was, getting that, and and I realized I was like, oh, like I'm intrigued and I'm curious to see like where this goes. So we've been doing that for like a month and a half, yeah, I think it's just in the early stages. So
Okay.
I also don't want to be saying it like, oh, yeah, I'm feeling this type of way because I'm still trying to feel it out. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely interest there and potential.
If that wasn't there, would you have considered going on Bachelor in Paradise?
Uh, yeah, maybe. It just depends on like who would be going. Because I'd have to see like if there's and like do my own research. Like, is there anybody here that I'd actually have interest in going for? Otherwise, if I was just going and I didn't have any interest, what am I doing? I'm just going for the wrong reasons, right? And we know how that shakes out. So
If and you don't have to tell me, so don't feel peer pressured, but peer pressured. Is there
I
any
like.
girl in Bachelor Nation that you would have been interested in seeing on the beach?
Um, there's. I'll say this. I won't get too descriptive, but there were like two women that from Zach's season that made it pretty far in the game that I would say I had interest in. I think they might have made it into like the top 8 or something. So there was like two of them that I could see as like being somebody that I'd be interested in, but that's about as much information as I'll divulge since nobody else gives any information. I haven't heard it. I see these podcasts happen and no one is like, yeah, I want so-and-so to show up.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but you could be the first and you could start it and it could start right here. I mean,
again,
why
like,
not? You wore the Bachelor. I mean, step out, make a move, Clayton.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If I wasn't talking to somebody right now, then I would probably maybe I would get bold and throw something out there. But
That's fair.
Out of respect,
I think that's respectful and that's fair. Let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about 180 Degrees, your book.
Mhm.
how did that come about, and how did it do?
Yeah. So the book 180 Degrees is based in basically my path in life and how I felt like for a lot of my life I was walking down a place of self doubt, and I needed to get to this place of self belief. And so in the book, I break it up into these 6 principles, 30 degrees at a time, 30 times 6, 180. There you go.
Got
Right. We
it.
like our
Yeah.
math,
Yeah.
simple math.
Math guys right
And,
here.
and there we go. Yeah. And I broke it down that way, and I talk about pivotal moments in my life where I started to make these slow pivots and how they all compound and added up to this place now where I'm at, where I do feel like I finally have self belief. So um, it was a super therapeutic book to write. It was basically me journaling and then throwing a cover photo on it and saying, "Here's a book." But I also realized that it could help other individuals as well, that are maybe in a place of self doubt and are wondering how can I get to this place where I can find self love. And I think through the principles I talk about, it's pretty simplistic in nature as far as like it's simple to understand.
Mhm.
And then realizing sometimes at some of these moments in our life that we might not realize how significant they are. There's one conversation that may change the outcome of your life, and that certainly happened multiple times for me. So as far as how the book did, I mean, it depends, I guess, how you're um, it depends on how you're judging it as far as the success. Did it sell a lot of copies? No, not really. I mean, I wasn't a New York Times bestseller. I
Mhm.
wasn't, probably in that realm. I haven't looked at like the sales, how much it sold. I just kind of looked at it like, okay, this is, it's meant to get into the hands of the people that it's meant to get into. And I think that's what's cool though about it is I didn't have any expectations other than I wrote this book for myself with the hope that somebody will be impacted by it. And I know at least one copy sold, so that
There you
means
go.
that one person. There you go. So that was that. But if you're comparing it to other people, Bachelor Nation's books, I mean, from a sales standpoint, it didn't do that well, but that's okay. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it's
was more or less just asking, like in general. Like I probably just phrased that wrong. I was just like, how did it?
oh. Oh, it did
You
great.
just
I mean, it was great, man.
yeah,
It was super helpful to me, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback on it.
yeah,
And it's done what it's needed to do,
yeah.
and what its purpose was. So yeah, it's been great.
That's what I meant. I didn't want to know like how many copies you
I don't
sold.
mind telling. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
mind throwing out the numbers. I mean, it's like to me, it is what it is. I can't, numbers are numbers.
Do you think saying yes to going on the Bachelorette and saying yes to being the Bachelor, obviously for you, it had its ups and downs, but do you think it's do you think that experience has made you a better person today?
1,000%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, no question. Yeah, which is why, like, I think sometimes people, I've again, everyone knows I just can't help but read stuff online. I've always just been online, and it's kind of always been the nature of who I am. Like, but I'm also just curious. But people said, why would he go back and subject himself if he were to go to paradise? Why would he subject himself to that? And it's like, well, because enough time has passed, and I've been able to realize how powerful all of those moments that I experienced were, and how they have led to me being a better human being. And I believe that I'm a lot more mentally tough now. I believe that I have, that self love, and so I'm not going to be as lax on, or I'm not going to be as, I guess, mistake, have a higher mistake potential, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not to say I couldn't go on TV and still do something dumb, but I just am in a place where I'm like, hey, I am who I am. I love who I am. I'm not going to bend the rules to conform to somebody else. I'm going to be myself. And I feel that if I were to go back to that, I could, to that experience, I'm sure I could glean more expertise that could make me an even better person. So I got no regrets. And I think that ultimately the show made me a better person. Just wasn't easy to get there, but I mean, I
Yeah.
suppose that's part of life.
That's that's part of it. Nothing great comes easy. And yeah, no, I
Yeah.
really I respect that.
Can I
You
turn that
are
on? Can I turn that on you? Can I ask you? I mean, how do you feel about your whole experience on the show? Do you feel like it made you a better person?
yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way as you. Like going like prior to going on the show, like yeah, I never really talked about mental health, and I was never vulnerable with my feelings or talked about my feelings. And just I saw the world one way. I lived in Chicago. I never really traveled. Um, I didn't go to college, but I went to the stock market. But I I wasn't able to, I guess see the world and meet other people and realize that we don't all think the same and we weren't all raised the same. So yeah, like it's just made me a much, I think, a better person for sure. Um,
So do you feel like it sounds like you said emotions, like that was the one thing that maybe the show helped you get to a place of being more vulnerable in that aspect? Was that maybe like what the one thing that you walked in the experience with and then you walked out and were like, this is wow, like this is what I gained from it. Would you say that's like the single biggest thing or?
Absolutely. And think about like, yeah, like I went on the show um, and I was 31. And for most of my life, I was single. Like, I think the longest relationship I had prior to going on the show um, was probably 2, 3 months. And that was because emotionally I was extremely immature.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it wasn't for the show, if that would have ever changed. Because I was definitely in a repetitive mode of how I dated and nothing, nothing ever really clicked. And then you go on the show and they open you up and
Well,
next thing you know.
you know what I find interesting is I feel like your story and my story are a little bit similar. You said you didn't really ever date that much. I didn't either. I only had like two girlfriends prior to the show my entire life, and I don't even know if you could call one. It was more like puppy love back in like seventh grade. But
Yeah.
you talked about how like all you knew was maybe like the Chicago lifestyle, the Midwest life, and that's exactly how I felt about my upbringing in Missouri. 28 years of my life before I hopped on the show, I was in Missouri, and that's all I knew. I only knew the Midwest speed. I didn't know any of this other stuff out there existed, so my mind was closed off. I was ignorant, but it was blissful because I didn't know that like there was this whole other realm of opportunities, of mindset, different
Yeah.
beliefs. I mean, I was around the same people for 20 years of my life that all held very similar political, religious beliefs. Like, so there wasn't all these different narratives. And so I'm sure you probably had something that's similar to that experience. And then like you got placed into this environment where you have people from all different backgrounds and you're like, whoa, there's a whole lot more to life than just the Midwest.
Yeah. And even like you said, a big one is also like careers and just different things you could do to make a living and things that you never thought were possible are extremely possible. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely changed
absolutely.
me. Um, we're gonna I love everything that you said. We are gonna play a game. Are you down to
Okay.
play a game?
It sounds like you're like Jigsaw from Saw. You're ready to play. Do you want to play a game?
And
Sure, man.
this is
You
when
can't.
this turns into a horror podcast. Before we do, I want to give you the opportunity. Do you want to just throw out a name of who you potentially were interested in? Do you want to throw it out there?
um. Oh man, should I?
You don't have to. I was just messing with you. I mean, if you want to, go
Uh,
for it. If you want to, go for it.
you
It's
know,
gonna.
I'm feeling a little dangerous. I mean, it's
I
not like
love it.
I'm talking to this person like so, but we're not dating or anything yet. So we'll see where that heads. But um, you know what? From all things that I can see on social media and from what I saw on TV, I think her name was Jess. Jess was pretty cute. Yeah, pretty cute
Okay,
girl. Like
she was on clickbait.
yeah,
I
she that's there you go. If you want the clickbait, that's somebody that I think is that I'm like, hey, there could be interest there.
love it, love it. Thank you, Clayton, for that. Love
now,
having a little
now you got
clickbait.
the one clip. You're like, there it is. We needed that. Everything else can get
All right,
shelved.
Clayton. This was great. We're actually going to skip the game. Have a nice day. No, let's play the game real quick. It is rapid fire questions. First thing that comes to your mind. If you're insulted or offended by any of these, I didn't make them up, so they should be pretty straightforward. All right.
Let's do it.
What is the first thing you do after you wake up?
Workout.
That's the first thing you do. You don't pee. You don't brush your teeth.
Oh, I mean, okay, yeah, sure. First thing, I mean, I guess if you want to get specific, first thing I do is I turn on my lamp next to me.
Okay. I guess you were right. Yeah, workout. I like that better. Okay. What is your favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving.
Love Thanksgiving. What?
Yeah.
Where is one place in the world that you have to visit?
Oh man. Somewhere like maybe the Swiss Alps. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. What is your go-to cocktail?
Oh gosh, man, I should know this. Just honestly, I mean, anything with tequila in it. I don't know.
Tequila.
I've been on tequila Casamigos.
How about whiskey? You like whiskey?
No, I was drinking whiskey when last time. Well, the first time that you and I met, and we were at
Yeah,
that
you were drinking
hotel,
whiskey.
I was drinking whiskey, but I've switched over to tequila. That's just faster paced here in Scottsdale. We like our tequila
Yeah, I feel like tequila is a healthier lifestyle.
until you overdo it, which I do. It's not a sipper. That's the problem. It goes down pretty smooth.
What did you throw up on? What were you drinking?
Well, almost everything, but
Everything, yeah.
it was like tequila, beer. I was getting fed shots at that point. It tasted like water. I knew I was in trouble.
Got it. Okay, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
What is the best dating advice you've ever received?
Be yourself.
What is the screensaver on your phone?
Oh, it's a painting actually I did, and then it says everything happens for a reason, and then it says don't give up. So it's just a constant reminder to myself every day. We look at our phones 300 times a day, so I get to see that message. Keeps me going.
There you go. Nobody steal Clayton's phone. What is your go-to karaoke song?
The first one that popped up was it's Riley Green, When She Comes Home Tonight. Have you heard that?
Mm-mm.
You never heard that?
I'm sure I have. I would just have to listen to it.
Listen, Serena, if you played that to her, you could turn that on, light up some candles. It's a true lover's song.
Is it country music?
It is, but it's like, you don't like country?
Not big on country. I mean,
Okay,
I could appreciate it, but I'm not
you're
big
lighting,
on it.
Okay, so you're lighting the candles. You're having a nice stay-at-home dinner with you and Serena. What are you playing? What's your first song? Is it Usher? You turn on some Usher, some Prince.
Prince,
God.
yeah.
Oh, you like uppity. Yeah. Okay.
Let's do a little Prince.
All right. I like.
But
that.
I'll listen to it. I'm going to listen to it after this. So, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna start singing it, but I don't think you want to hear that.
No, I think we're good on that. But I believe that you have the voice of May Angel.
The acoustics in here aren't that good, but normally, if anywhere else, it would be.
All right. What is one piece of advice you would give to anyone who is going on The Bachelor in the future?
Be your authentic self, because you'll never regret doing that. I think if you try to please people and live and take actions for what you think others want you to do, you'll always regret it. And that's kind of what happened to me in my life, or in my experience. I did what I thought other people wanted me to do, and those are all the regrets I've had. But I never regretted being my true self when I was.
True that. All right, Clayton. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming on. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'm sure you're just going to keep growing in every aspect of your life. And I'm sure you're going to fucking take control of the Scottsdale market, and I can't wait to see.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, Joe. Appreciate your time, man, and let me know if you ever come out this way.
I will. All right, Clayton. Thank you. Clayton, so nice having him on. I really like him. I feel like he's in a good place. He definitely had a rough go at The Bachelor, but I'm happy to see him in such a good mood, and good for him. So Clayton, thank you so much for being here today. And to our listeners, I really missed you guys. I hope you missed me, and if you didn't, well, that's a problem in itself. But thank you for listening in, and as always, make sure to subscribe and submit all your questions. Check us out on social, like, comment, DM us. You know where to find us at ClickbaitBN. All the links to all our pages are on that Instagram page. So check it out. Share your stories with us. We want to know what clickbait you are looking at this week. And Prime members, make sure to listen to Clickbait ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today, or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus and Apple Podcasts. But before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. Thank you again to everyone. I missed you guys, and make sure to tune in next week for a new episode of Clickbait. See you later.